are going to get started. So we are at week 6 of the anatomy of trust. And this week she's on letter number A, which she makes as accountability. And, I started thinking about accountability mostly because, we typically define accountability as people that are reliable, that are answerable, that are responsible, but she defines accountability. Oh, by the way, if you need to move around, do move around while I'm talking at you, you're good. She defines accountability as the ability to say, I've made a mistake, make amends, own it, and apologize, And I've been thinking about this because it's like I got very curious and started going down a rabbit hole of the whole idea of making amends. And I had to write down some of the words I came up with because I thought that they were interesting. So, of course, we can think of making amends as making fair. We can think of making amends as making an improvement on something. We can think of making amends as making something more accurate, or revising something, changing something, or altering something. And it was these last few ones that really sort of stuck with me, this idea of revising, changing, altering, improving. It really kind of stuck with me because it seems that in all of our relationships, for trust to really be there, change needs to be possible within it. So that as each and every one of us grows and evolves, there's still space for us to grow and evolve within the dynamic of the relationship. And as we as individuals grow and evolve, there's space for us to grow and evolve with how we think of ourselves, what things we will take on and what things we won't take on. And considering everything that we've gone through so far, all the other 5 different categories that she came up with, I was like, okay, well, this sounds hard. If we have to be able to change and yet we need reliability, how do you do this? Like, what is the solution? And of course, I'm like, well, you need to trust the person. I was like, great, Jessica, big giant circle that you just walked yourself into. So I wrote some notes, and I do need to read this one just because I was like, this is interesting. So in order to really trust ourselves, in order to trust another person to have the potential to change, there are a few things that we need to have in place. And these are all things she's already talked about, but it's interesting how they all come into play here. So boundaries is the first one, meaning I have to know where you end. I have to know where I begin. I have to know what you are taking responsibility for and what I'm choosing to take responsibility for. Linked to that is the second one, which is reliability. And reliability is really knowing our own limits. So I'm not going to overcommit and under promise because I know what I can actually reasonably, reliably, consistently do, And then of course, this comes up to having a sense of integrity. Words, actions, deeds are all aligned, instead of me saying something and then acting in a way that's counter to that. And then of course, in order to do all of that, we have to know that within those relationships, we have the ability to not be judged, that the other person is accepting of us, how we are, as we are. And then of course, the last one for last week was vaulting, this ability to share my truth and you share your truth and it stays within the sanctity of the relationship versus, us trying to hotwire connection. And so then of course it's like, okay, Jessica, great. What does any of this have to do with life? And what does any of this have to do with yoga? And of course, here it comes. So every social scientist, evolutionary scientist out there will say human beings are social creatures. They will all say that. And what does that mean? That means in order to thrive, we need to have other individuals in our life. And in order to actually thrive and have those other individuals in our lives, we need to be able to trust them. We need to know that they're going to show up and they're going to be the people that you can show up as your full authentic self and not feel judged, not feel let down, not feel ashamed of being who you are as you are when you are. And what this has to do with yoga is everything is connected. Yoga is this place where we are trying to come into contact with ourselves as a person so that we can come into contact with another person. And the more that we can trust ourselves, the more that we can trust another, the more that we know our own boundaries, our own limitations, our own ability to keep truths that aren't ours to share, the more that we're able to be vulnerable authentically, the more that we're integrous with our words, actions, and deeds, the more that, we can actually show up in ways that change is possible. So with that being said, we are going to focus on standing poses. We're going to focus on more of a vinyasa breath-based repetitive sequence. And each time we come into it, I want you to notice what's changing. I want you to notice how your breath is, and I want you to notice how you are. And can you allow yourself to be wherever you are as you are? You know, all of us have been practicing for a really long time. And so we've noticed that our practice has changed. To poses that we couldn't do before, maybe we can now. Poses that we used to do, maybe we don't want to do. Like there's that constant evolution, and how can we be kind to ourselves as we go through the process? So with that being said, we're going to start standing. Sorry for that long-winded preamble, but I finally got so excited about how all these random things got going. So once you find yourself standing, I want you to make sure you've got 2 blocks towards the upper outer corners of your space. Have a blanket somewhere to the sides of your space. And similar to how we start a line and flow, the first couple of minutes here, I just want you to just move around in any way that feels good to you. So some of you might want to take some shoulder circles. Some of you might want to take some twists. Some of you might want to take some wrist circles or ankle rolls, but you're just coming into contact with your bodies. Noticing how it is at this moment in time. And we've got about a minute or so here. So I do encourage you to really explore. You might start off with one thing, you might start off with something else, but it's really this opportunity for you to notice who you are at this moment in time. Steve and I started off this morning talking about change, and my own change is like, I have a 15-year college reunion coming up, and it's like, ooh, that should be interesting. And so it's just interesting to notice where we are. And once you feel like you've gotten all your little exploratory stuff out of the way, you'll come and you'll stand at the top of your space. And we've got another 30 seconds. So if you're still moving around, you still move around. Great. And then we'll start to make the way to the top of our space. Separate your feet hip distance apart. And I want you to either soften your gaze or close your eyes. Place a hand on the heart and a hand on the belly. And the first thing that you'll just become aware of is just the feeling of your hands on your clothes, the clothes on your skin. Become aware of the breath pushing into your skin, pushing into the clothes, pushing into the hands. And you'll just take 3 audible exhales here. So big breath in and an audible breath out. And as you take these next 2, you just notice, does the belly fill first? Does the hand fill first? It doesn't really matter right now. You're just noticing. And you're giving yourself the permission to let the breath be as it is. And then at the end of this next exhalation, you'll simply lower the hands down so the hands hang alongside the hips. Let's take 3 shoulder circles here. And again, you're just using this as an opportunity to start to awaken the body, to start to contact and make connection with the changes that are present. And after you've gone one direction, you'll switch and make 3 circles the other way. And then from there, you'll come to stillness, reach your arms out and up and overhead, bend your right elbow, grab your right elbow with your left hand, pressing the elbow to the right, pulling it to the left. Lengthen down through the tailbone, draw the front ribs in and back, draw your skull straight back, and just notice what you happen to notice on the back body. See if you can deepen the breath here. And then on your next in-breath, you'll reach up through your left arm, reach up through your right, and switch sides, bending the left elbow, grabbing the left elbow with the right hand. Again, centering that head on the top of the spine, lengthening the tailbone straight down, slight bend in the knees if they're locked out, and drawing your front ribs back towards your back body and up slightly. We've got one more breath here. And then very gently, next in breath, reach up through right arm, reach up through left. Exhale, both arms open out. And we'll start doing our breath to movement. So you'll go ahead and inhale, sweep your arms out and up and overhead. As you exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, bend your knees, fold all the way in. Inhale, root to rise, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. And then exhale, hands through heart center. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, circle sweep your arms. Maybe the gaze goes up as the hands go up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Nice job. Inhale, halfway lift, sternum, heart reach forward. And then exhale, scoop the belly, chin comes into the chest, fold into your thighs. Inhale, root to rise, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to heart center. Last time. Inhale, circle sweep your arms. Exhale, hinge at the hips, flat back coming forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold all the way in. Inhale, root to rise, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, we're going to add on. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up and overhead. See if we can deepen the breath. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Take a moment to pause here, maybe hands on blocks, bend one knee and then the other, just shifting around a little bit right to left. Let your head be a lot heavier. Yep. And let go of any tension there as you just notice what's happening here in the body. The body's always changing, and the more that we have the capacity and the potential to just be with that change, I think there's less suffering in life, less pain. Awesome. When you're ready, go ahead and come to a still neutral spot. Bend both knees, plant your hands on the floor. Inhale here and exhale, step your right foot long and back. And you've got about 3 breaths here. So if you want to stay still, stay still. If you want to move a little front to back or right to left, by all means do that. But you're paying attention to how the body is feeling in this low lunge position, how that inner right thigh is feeling, how the breath is moving. If you're in movement, go ahead and come to stillness. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, plant the palms on the mat and step yourself back to plank pose. Press the floor away a lot. Lift up through your happy inner armpits and take a big breath in. On your next exhale, see where you can soften just a little bit of tension. On your next inhale, see where you can find more length through your spine. And on your next exhale, shift your weight forward and lower slowly all the way down to the floor. You'll gently inhale and come to a baby cobra, pulling your heart forward and through, legs are active. And then exhale, lower all the way back down. Inhale through hands and knees, come up, and exhale, downward facing dog. And then you'll just take 3 breaths here, and maybe you bend one knee, maybe you straighten the other leg, but you're just noticing what it feels like to be in the process of change. It's very interesting. Yoga talks a lot about this trimurti of creation, maintenance, and destruction. And I feel like we often try to fight one more than the other. And how can we keep them in balance? All 3 are necessary. Go ahead and come to a still neutral spot. Take a big breath in. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Again, see if you can take that really long, low lunge. And you've got 3 breaths here. So you might move around a little right to left or front to back. But you're just seeing what this feels like to be in your body right here, right now. Nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. If you're in movement, go ahead and come to stillness. Highly encourage you to put your hands on your blocks. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, step that left foot forward to meet your right. Awesome sauce. From here, inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold in. Feet hip distance apart. Inhale, bend your knees, sit low, Utkatasana, chair pose. And as you exhale, see if you can soften the face a little bit, lower the pelvis just a little bit, and hands can be wherever they wish to be. On your next inhalation, stand up, reach up, look up. As you exhale, stay here, tailbone lengthens down, front ribs draw in and back. Inhale, find more length through your arms, length through your spine, and exhale, arms open out to the side and down to your waist. All right, adding on. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Nice work. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your left leg long and back. Take a moment to pause here. Again, see if you want to move around a little bit or not. If you're in movement, just see how that feels. If you're in stillness, just see how that feels. Those in movement, come to stillness. Everyone take a big breath in. As you exhale, plant your palms, step your right leg back to meet your left. 3 breath cycles here in plank. Press down through the hands, press wide through the pinky fingers, lift up through your happy inner armpits, and see if you can lift the back of your head just a smidge. Yep. On your next in-breath, go ahead and shift your weight forward. As you exhale, lower through Chaturanga Dandasana to Cobra or Up Dog, your choice. And then as you exhale, you'll make your way carefully back to downward facing dog, whether that means you lower down or you just shift over your toes. It's totally up to you. And again, you've got 3 breath cycles. Maybe you bend one knee, maybe you bend the other. But we're all noticing how it feels to keep engagement in the hands, engagement in the shoulder girdles. We're not collapsing in the armpit region. Yep, there you go. Awesome. And then if you're in movement, go ahead and come to stillness. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, step that left foot forward between your hands. And again, you've got about 3 breath cycles here. So you might be still, you might be in movement, but you're just noticing how it feels to be in your body in this moment. So we've already done this now, but how is this side its own unique thing? How is this moment its own unique moment? In order for us to have relationships that are really nurturing and fulfilling and sustainable, change has to be possible. And how do we allow it to be there? Those that are in movement, go ahead and come to stillness. Everyone take a big breath in. As you exhale, step that right foot forward to meet your left foot. Awesome sauce. Feet hip distance apart. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold all the way in. Inhale, bend your knees, sit your pelvis low, Utkatasana, chair pose, hand variation of your choice. This time I want you to pay attention to really spreading wide through your pinky toes, really pressing down through your big toes and really hugging the outer hips in. From there, see if you can draw your sternum up just a bit, so your tailbone down just a bit and lengthen your neck. Nice job. Next, in breath, stand up, look up, reach up. And as you exhale, tailbone lengthens down, front ribs draw in. Find one more inhale to lengthen up a little bit higher. And then exhale, open the arms out to the side. Awesome sauce. Okay, let's add on. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your right leg long and back. Spin your right foot to the floor for warrior 1. Take a moment here to ground down through the feet, and then inhale, bring your spine up to vertical. Awesome sauce. Now, once you find yourself in warrior 1, see if you can draw that left hip back, press into your right pinky toe and reach up through the arms. On your next inhalation, find more length through the spine. As you exhale, straighten your front leg long. Awesome sauce. Inhale, reach up through the arms, and exhale, reach forward, out and down, fingers coming to blocks, shins, or floor, wherever they touch. Take a breath in here. On your next exhale, see if you can draw that outer left hip back a little bit more. Yep. And then inhale, come forward, low lunge. As you exhale, plant your palms, step yourself back, downward facing dog. Now you can always stay here in down dog, or you can cycle through an up dog or cobra. It's totally up to you, but you're choosing to just allow the body to tell you what's needed next. You're allowing yourself to just be where you are and let change be possible. Yeah, nice job, guys. Awesome sauce. All right. Take a big breath in here. Take a big breath out. From downward facing dog, inhale, lift your right leg up and back. As you exhale, step that right foot between your hands. Inhale here. And then exhale, step your left foot forward to meet your right. Yep. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold all the way in. Inhale, sit, Utkatasana, chair pose. Notice if you want to take the same variation as before, or if you want to vary it. And you've got 3 breath cycles here, and I want everyone to spread wide through their pinky toe, press down through their big toe, sit your pelvis low, you hug those outer hips in, and then see if you can draw your pubic bone up to your navel. Yep, sternum lifts to the thumbs, neck becomes long. Nice job. Next inhalation, stand up, reach up, look up. As you exhale, draw those front ribs in and back. Inhale, find a little bit more length. Now this time as we exhale, we're going to let our right arm come forward, our left arm go back and take a standing twist. Inhale, bring both arms back up and overhead. And exhale, standing twist to the opposite side. And we're just going to do 3 of these. We're going to see how that goes. Inhaling, arms up and overhead. Exhaling to the left. Your pelvis stays neutral. So if it's like headlights of a car, it stays going in the direction that the car is going, but your head can turn to look out and see the trees that you're driving past, or maybe that building you needed to turn around and go back to. But the pelvis is still going straight forward. Awesome sauce. Last exhale to the right. Once you come back to center, both arms high, we'll go ahead and exhale, fold forward at the hips, Uttanasana, forward fold once again. Awesome sauce. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your left leg long and back. Spin your left foot to the floor for warrior 1. Ground the feet first, and then inhale, come all the way up for Virabhadrasana 1. And you've got about 2 breath cycles here. So notice what adjustments you need to make. Do you need to press into that front big toe a lot and draw that outer right hip back as you press into the back pinky toe? Do you soften the front ribs in and back and let the sternum still come forward? Nice job. Next in breath, stand up, reach up, look up, straighten that front leg long. And then exhale, start to hinge at the hips, reaching forward, out and down to floor or blocks beneath the shoulders. And you've just got 2 breaths here. So you might continue to press down into that right big toe as you draw that outer right hip back and lift up through that inner left thigh. Yep. Next in breath, let's go ahead and shift our weight forward, low lunge. As you exhale, plant your palms and step yourself back, downward facing dog. Option to stay here or cycle through an up dog or cobra as you choose. Nice variations, guys. And you can always choose to just hang out in down dog or plank or do something else if that feels good to you. That's always an option. Okay. And then once we're all back in down dog, we'll add on. Okay. So from down dog, go ahead and inhale, lift your left leg up and back. As you exhale, step that left foot quietly between your hands. Take a breath in here. And then exhale, step the right foot to meet the left. Now this time your feet can touch or the feet can remain hip distance apart. It's totally up to you, but you'll inhale, halfway lift. You'll exhale, fold in. And then you'll inhale, sit, Utkatasana, chair pose once again. And those that are having the legs together, you can squeeze the inner thighs, inner knees together. Your arms are wherever they wish to be. And you're seeing what's different this time. We want to allow our relationships to endure, especially those with ourselves. So how can we allow change to be an integral part of everything? On your next inhalation, stand up, reach up, look up. As you exhale, little twist to the right. Yep. As you inhale, both arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, little twist to the left. Left hip still keeps coming forward. Inhale, both arms come back to center. Exhale, hinge at the hips, come forward, forward fold. Okay, adding on still. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your right leg long and back. Spin your right foot to the floor for warrior one. Round the feet, and then inhale, go ahead and come up for warrior one. Awesome. Pause here. Draw those front ribs in and back. Press down through your back toe and draw that outer left hip back. Next in breaths, straighten that front leg, reach up through your arms a little bit more. Now as you exhale, with that front leg straight, you're going to reach forward through your right arm and take a twist into a revolved triangle. So that right arm is going to come forward to the block or the floor. The left arm is going to reach up and overhead. And the hand can be on the inside or the outside of the front foot. That's up to you, but you're just paying attention to how it feels in your body. Continue to draw the outer left hip back. Nice job. Inhale, turn your gaze to the floor. Exhale, plant your hands on the floor. Come to a low lunge as you breathe in, and exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Again, option to stay right here or option to cycle through. It's totally up to you, but you're just paying attention to how that's working for you. Nice. Great. Okay. From here, let's inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Shift your weight forward, float your back leg off the floor, standing splits. Oh, buddy man, I know. And you're just gonna pause and you're gonna breathe. Next exhale, step that left foot to meet the right. Great. From there, inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold all the way in. Your choice, feet together or hip distance apart. Inhale, sit, Utkatasana, chair pose. And you're just pausing in your breathing. What is unique about this time, this chair pose, this version of you, this moment, this breath? Next inhalation, stand up, reach up, look up. As you exhale, you'll take that twist to the right. As you inhale, both arms high. As you exhale, twist to the left. As you inhale, both arms high. As you exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Awesome sauce. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your left leg long and back. Spin your left leg to the floor. Find the foundation first, and then inhale, come up for Virba one, warrior one. And take a moment to pause, take a moment to breathe. On your next exhale, see if you can draw those front ribs in and back as you push down into that right big toe, and then inhale, straighten that right leg long. As you exhale, left arm reaches forward, out and down, right arm reaches up to come into revolved triangle. And so it might be that the left hand comes to the floor or the block inside or outside that front leg, but you're all drawing that outer right hip. That's the front hip back. Yeah, nice job, guys. And you've just got 1 to 2 more breath cycles here. Where can you soften tension around the heart, around the shoulders and around the neck. Nice. Next, in-breath gaze comes to the floor. As you exhale, the hands come to the floor, come to a low lunge, breathe in. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Option to cycle through or not. Again, you're just paying attention to what feels good for you. How do we allow ourselves to be accountable to ourselves? And I really like it's this idea of that we're not just being responsible, we're allowing ourselves to change, we're allowing ourselves to evolve, we're allowing ourselves to say, you know what, that wasn't the greatest idea for me, but I can make amends. I can own that. I can change course of action. I can make it right in a different way. Okay, let's go ahead and add on. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. As you exhale, step that left foot between your hands. Awesome. Highly encourage hands on blocks, but you'll shift your weight forward, float that right leg parallel to the floor, standing splits. Keep that back foot super active. The front knee can be as bent as it needs to be, but you're lifting through that inner right thigh. At the end of your next exhale, step that right foot to meet the left. Nice job. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Slight variation. Come up, halfway lift one more time. Draw your hands to your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Draw your shoulder blades on your back and see if you can keep your spine parallel to the floor. So the chest will be parallel to the floor, but the shoulders will be drawing back and away. Your crown will be going forward. Awesome. Now from here, bend your knees even more and see if you can sit into chair pose, keeping the spine that straight. Yep. Spine as vertical as possible while keeping it that straight. Nice job, guys. Next, in breath, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, hands through heart center. Go ahead and soften the gaze or close the eyes. Plant a hand on the heart and a hand on the belly. And notice now, where is the breath? How does it feel to be in your body in this moment? The relationships that I think are the most important are those where change is possible, where we can have ourselves show up in our frail, human, wonderful forms and not be okay. And how do we find that with ourselves moment to moment, breath to breath? Awesome sauce. We're going to add on. The gaze is closed, gently open the eyes. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms out and up and overhead. And then exhale, let's go ahead and fold forward at the hips, forward fold. Careful of babies behind you. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your right leg long and back. Awesome sauce. Spin the right foot to the floor and inhale, come up for warrior one. Great. As you exhale, let's go ahead and straighten that front leg. Inhale, reach up through both arms. Exhale, take a twist to the left. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back, coming into revolved triangle once again. So left, right hand to the floor, left arm reaches up. Great. This is going to be the fun one. Everybody turn your gaze to the floor. Make sure your right hand is on the inside of that left foot. Bend your front knee, shift your weight forward, float your right leg off the floor for revolved half moon. Nice work, guys. And you're just noticing what you notice. Nice job. As you're ready, lower that left hand to the floor. Step the right leg forward to meet its mate. Take a moment to bend the knees, shake out the head, shake out the hips. Notice what you notice here. That wasn't as bad as you thought it might have been. It's a lot of stability, a lot of strength. Change, once we do it gently, it allows bigger changes to happen. And that was a huge change. All right. Feet either hip distance apart or together, your choice. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stay here. Draw your hands to your hips, bend your knees as much as you need to keep your spine parallel to the floor. Reach your sternum and pubic bone away from each other. Draw your chin towards your sternum just a little bit and draw the shoulder blades onto your back. As you're ready, keep your spine that straight, bend your knees even more and sit yourself up for Utkatasana, chair pose. And then you can bring your hands wherever you want once you find yourself in chair. So spine to vertical, knees are bent, heart is lifted. Nice work. Inhale, stand up, look up, reach up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Other side. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your left leg long and back. Spin your left foot to the floor, find the foundation first, and then inhale, come up for warrior one. Yeah, nice job, guys. On your next exhale, straighten that front leg long. As you inhale, find more length through the arms and the fingertips, and then exhale, you'll reach forward, out, and down to come into that revolved triangle pose. Left hand to the floor, right arm reaches up. Nice job. Great. Take a moment here. Turn your gaze to the floor, bend your front knee, shift your weight forward, float that left leg parallel to the floor, and we find ourselves in revolved half moon. Nice job, guys. Active through that back leg. Nice work. On your next exhale, lower that right hand to the floor. Step your left foot forward to meet your right. Great. Slight variation here. Move around as you'd like. And then when you feel like you've gotten all your wiggles and giggles out, go ahead and come to a still neutral spot. Let your heads be super, super heavy. Bend your knees, plant your palms, step back plank pose. Now, some of you will choose to stay in plank. Some of you will lower to forearm, but we're going to stay here for about 4 breath cycles. So you choose to either be in plank or lower to forearm plank. It's totally up to you, but this is just about finding stability. Everyone lift the back of your heads a smidge. Make sure your shoulders and your hips are in the same line so your butt's not higher than your shoulders. Yep. And you've just got 3 breath cycles here. After you've taken the total of your 4 breath cycles, since my breath cycles are clearly not counting right now, I want you to go back to downward facing dog. If you need to lower and rest in child's pose for a moment, by all means, please do that. If you're happy to hang out in downward facing dog, please do that. We've got 2 more breath cycles here, and you're just noticing what you notice and how that's going. And those of you that are in child's pose, when you're ready, you'll make your way back to downward facing dog. Awesome sauce. All right. From downward facing dog, inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, step the right foot between your hands. Spin your back foot to the floor for warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2, and then inhale, come up for Virabhadrasana 2. And once you find yourself in warrior 2, we've been in warrior 1 this whole time. I want you to see what adjustments need to be made in this shape. This is its own unique little animal. Yeah. And once you feel like your feet are as far apart as they need to be, let's press down into the back edge of the pinky toe. Let's bend into that front knee as best as we can and draw that outer right hip back. From here, lower the left arm to touch the top of the left thigh. Inhale, reach your right arm up for a reverse warrior. And then as you exhale, that right arm can come to the top of the right thigh as you reach your left arm up and overhead for extended side angle. And I want you to take 3 breath cycles here. You might find that if you lengthen your tailbone back to the inner left thigh and roll your right ribs under, it feels like you can sort of arc your upper back just a little bit and find a fun stretch happening across the front of that left thigh. Nice job, guys. Next inhalation, you'll come back up to warrior two, keeping the front knee bent, legs active. As you exhale, go ahead and straighten that front leg long, pulling the kneecap up, straightening the leg. Reach back through the front arm and the back arm evenly. And then on your next in-breath, reach forward, out and down. Lower that right hand to block shin or floor inside or outside of that front foot. And you've got 3 breath cycles here. Press more into your front big toe mound. Make the front heel light. Draw the outer right hip back as you press into the pinky toe edge of that left foot. And then everyone, let's see if the right ribs can come under a little bit more. Left ribs can stack on top. Yeah. Next, exhale, turn your gaze to the floor, lower your left hand to the floor, come to a low lunge. Step yourself back, downward facing dog, option to stay there, or whichever variation you've been taking, either to cycle through, to go to plank, to do none of the above. You're doing whatever feels best for you. Nice job, guys. All right, let's try the other side. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. As you exhale, step that left foot quietly between your hands. Once you're there, spin the back foot to the floor and bring yourself up for warrior two, Virva Hadrasana 2. And just as we did on the first side, once you're in warrior two, take a moment to adjust your stance. I love that, Barbara. And then you're going to see if this side is its own unique animal. Whatever changes need to happen are okay. We want the space for that to be okay. And then when you're ready, you'll activate the feet even more. You'll push down and wide through the feet like you're a speed skater and hug everything in. Lower that right arm to touch the right thigh and inhale, sweep the left arm up for a reverse warrior. And again, it's more of a side bend versus a back bend, and you're seeing how that feels in the body. Nice. Next in breath, come up and move into extended side angle, left forearm on top of left thigh, right arm alongside your ears. And then notice the small changes that you can make here to find more interest or curiosity in this pose. So simply lengthening the tailbone to the inner right thigh, pressing the back foot down. And it feels like I almost am leaning my upper back at times, where it feels like then there's a nice stretch coming across the front of the right hip flexor. Awesome. Next in breath, go ahead and return to warrior two. So if you can keep the knees bent as they are. As you exhale, straighten that front leg long, pulling the kneecap up, keeping that left heel light. And then inhale, reach forward, out and down, lowering the hand to a block, shin or floor, inside or outside that left foot. And if you're touching your shin, you can push your shin into your hand into your shin, and that'll help you rotate the left ribs under, the right ribs up. And if you're not doing any of that, you can still lengthen the left side ribs to come long away from the left hip under and then forward. Nice job, guys. Next in breath, turn the gaze to the floor. As you exhale, lower the right hand, low lunge, step yourself back, downward facing dog, option to cycle through or not, your choice. Nice choices, guys. Everybody's doing something uniquely different, and that is wonderful. Great. Okay, last set. From downward facing dog, inhale, lift your right leg up and back. As you exhale, step your right leg forward between your hands. Spin your back foot to the floor for warrior two, and then inhale, come all the way up. Okay, awesome. Now from here, we'll just inhale and reverse your warrior. You've been here before. How is this side its own unique thing? As you exhale, come into extended side angle, Utthita Parsva Konasana. Yep. Take a breath cycle there in your extended side angle. On your next in breath, return to warrior two. As you exhale, straighten that front leg long. Inhale, reach forward, out and down, Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Great. Would highly encourage you to bring that top hand to your hip, but you choose to do whatever works for you. Turn your gaze down to the floor, bend the front knee, shift your weight forward, walk the right hand forward, lift the left leg parallel to the floor for half moon. And then once you find yourself in Ardha Chandrasana, you might then draw that outer right hip back even more, wrap the ribs under, lift up through that back inner thigh, and maybe float your left arm up to the sky. Keep that back foot really active, really, really active. There you go. As you're ready, gaze comes back to the floor. Carefully step yourself back to triangle pose. Back to triangle pose. Back to triangle pose. Yeah. As you're ready, lower that top hand to the floor, square your hips to the floor, low lunge. Step yourself back, downward facing dog. Take a moment to pause in down dog. Pause in down dog. And then if you'd like, you'll stay in down dog or you'll cycle through. But we wanted to just take a moment to find symmetry since we did so many asymmetrical things on that side. Great. Last set, last side. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Exhale, step your left foot quietly between your hands. Spin your back foot to the floor, and then inhale, come up for Virabhaktu, warrior two. Great. As you're ready, inhale, reverse your warrior, Viparita Virabhadrasana. As you exhale, extended side angle, Utthita Parsva Konasana. 2 breath cycles here. Inhale, return to warrior two. As you exhale, go ahead and straighten that front leg long. Inhale, reach forward, out and down, Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Now option to keep that right arm up or bring the right hand to the right hip. Turn your gaze to the floor, bend your front knee, shift your left hand, weight forward, float that right leg up parallel to the floor. And in order to make this happen, that back leg, that right leg has to be super active. So it's almost like you're pushing the wall away behind you as you lift through that inner right thigh, root down through that left leg a lot. And then maybe you can roll your left ribs under more and maybe float the right ribs on top and maybe float the right arm up. Awesome. As you're ready, gaze comes back to the floor. Gently step back, triangle pose. That's a fun one. Yep. From there, lower the top hand to the floor, come to a low lunge, step yourself back, downward facing dog. And from this down dog, we'll just come to plank. And we'll hold here for 4 breath cycles. From there, you'll lower to child's pose and you'll rest. When you're in child's pose, you'll just rest. I want you to check in, feel what it feels like in your chest and your belly as they are potentially touching your thighs or maybe not. But what does the breath feel like there? If your knees are together, you might feel that breathing into your belly widens your low back, or breathing into your chest widens your upper back. If your legs are apart, you might feel that breathing into the belly widens the pelvic floor a bit. And you're just noticing what you notice. At the end of this next exhalation, the hands will come underneath the shoulders. Press your spine up to vertical and have a seat. So you might sit on a block, you might sit on a blanket, you might sit cross-legged, you might sit on your shin bones. You're going to sit however you want. But I do want you to get a block. We have one more thing that I'd like to have us do. We want to make sure neck is okay after all that twisting. Okay, so you can use the block if you'd like. You can also not use the block if you don't want, but you're going to put either the block at the back of your head or your hands at the back of your head, and you're going to push your head into that block or into your hands, push your hands into the, so you're going to push the block and your head into each other, or push your hands and your head into each other. I'm just taking a moment to do that. You're at about 20% of your capacity. And then you'll release that. And then we'll do it one more time. So 20% pushing your head back, pushing the block into your head or your hands into your head. Okay. And then you'll release that. Keeping the block still there. I want you to push back like you're doing a tug of war and you're trying to lift the gaze, but the hands don't want to let the head come back to let the gaze go up. And then you're trying to bring the head back to vertical, but the head doesn't want to come back to vertical, so it's resisting the block. And we've got 4 of these. So the head pushes back, but the hands pull forward. And then the hands pull forward, but the head pushes back. We've got about 2 more. Head pushes back, hands pull forward. Hands pull forward, head pushes back. And last one. And so for this set, we're not going past vertical when we come forward. We'll do forward in a moment, but we're just trying to strengthen the back of the neck. And then you'll just release that after your 4th one and just notice what you notice happening in the head, what you notice happening in the neck. Okay. And then we'll just do the front to make sure. So you can use the block. You can also just use your hand if you'd like, but you'll do it 2 times at 20%, just pushing head and block. And sometimes it feels good to use both hands, so you'll just do that on your own. Feeling the front of your neck muscles engage. And Laura, you have a cork block, so this might not feel so good. And then you'll release that and do it one more time, about 20% of your capacity. So you're not trying to be Hulk Hogan here, it's just 20%. And after you've done that 2 times, you'll release that. And then we'll do just as we did with the back. So you'll come forward, pushing your head into your hands, but your hands are resisting. And then you'll push your hands into your head, but your head is resisting. And as we do this, we want to make sure that we're only working from the head. So the whole spine isn't rounding, it's just the head. And we're always trying to come back up to vertical every time once we bring the spine back up. Okay, and after you've done 4 of those, you'll just let that go for a moment and notice what you notice happening in the neck. Okay, and then last set, that comes to the left side of your head. You can also just put your hand on your head, like literally that works as well. And you're just going to push your head into your hand or your block into your head or your hand. You're trying to not let so much happen on the right side, it's just on the left side. And again, 20%, you let go. And you do it again. Awesome. And let go. And then we'll do 4 times. So you look or try to look to the left, but your hand's resisting. And then your hand is trying to bring your head back to center, but your head is resisting. And it really doesn't have to be that big. You might not go that far, but we're just seeing what's happening in the neck. Awesome sauce. And after you've done 4, you'll just notice what it feels like between the sides. And then we'll try the other side. Okay. So hand or block, and 2 times pushing it 20%. And you're holding it for like 5 to 10 seconds, and then you let that go. And you do it again. And then you let that go. And then 4 times trying to look at the hand resists. And then the hand tries to put the head back to center, but the head doesn't want to go. And even though there's a lot of activation on the side that's going, see if you can let the rest of the body be easy. So you're sitting as tall as you can through the spine. You're not letting the opposite side. So for most of us, that's our left side. It's not getting involved. It's just on the right side. Some sauce, and after you've done 4, you'll release that. Cool. All right, bring your butts to the floor. We'll see how all this moves into this. Once your pelvis is on the floor, bring your hands back behind you so your fingertips are pointing in the same direction as your toes, and your hands are a little bit wider than your hips. So we haven't done these in a while, so if this isn't fun, I'm sorry, and that's okay. You're going to push down through your hands, lift your pelvis up and slide your butt closer to your feet. Bend your elbows a little bit. Try to push your chest towards your knees, and just notice how this feels to look forward, pressing down into your index fingers and your thumbs, hugging your shoulder blades together. If this is enough for you, you're going to stay right here. Otherwise, you're going to start to push through your hands, push through your feet, lift your hips high. Once your hips come high, draw the shoulder blades onto the back, push down through the L shape of your hands. And you want to see if you can keep your neck long. So we did all that stuff to engage the neck. So this is still active here. And you've got about 3 more seconds here. And then when you're ready, you'll lower your pelvis back down and see if you can sit super tall on the spine. Okay. We'll do that one more time. So both hands back behind you. Draw the heart forward, draw the pelvis forward. When you're ready, you can stay right here, just finding a stretch across the chest, or you can push down through the feet and find engagement in the back body. Again, the shoulder blades are hugging together, the tailbone is lengthening towards the knees, and the neck is trying to remain neutral. Okay, when you're ready, you'll come down. Okay. Now see if you can keep your weight on your sit bones, and then you're going to draw one leg to your chest and the other leg to your chest. Awesome sauce. You can stay right here. You can hold the back of your shins if you'd like. You can try to hold your feet if you'd like. But we're just going to balance here. So maybe you're balancing here, maybe you're balancing here, maybe you're like, yeah, nope. But we're focusing on what's happening in the back body. So that sacrum is still coming forward. The shoulder blades are drawing down the back. Nice job. Those of you with your legs straightish, you might want to open your legs out and see how that impacts your balance. See if the sacrum can still come forward, the heart still comes forward. Nice job, guys. When you're ready, draw the legs back together. Bend the knees. Put the feet on the floor. Awesome sauce. Slowly lower down onto your back. Great. And once you find yourself on your back, you're just going to take a moment to just be on your back. Oh, I just realized we forgot something. Oh, well, we'll add it in here. Go ahead and bend your knees and plant your feet firmly on the floor. Cactus the arms outside of the shoulders, and then cross your right ankle on top of the left. Flex through that right foot a lot. Draw your left knee towards your left armpit, left shin parallel to the floor. Flex through that left leg a lot. Press that right ankle into that left thigh. Now you might stay here with your hands on the floor, just really working the legs. You might thread your hands through the whole of your legs and grab either the back of that left thigh, maybe the front of that left shin. But you want to see if you can find that engagement. So the back of your head is pushing down into the floor just as much, well, maybe not as much as when we pressed our head into that block. And you're seeing if the pelvis can press down into the floor too, like it's pressing into the floor. Shoulder blades open and wide. Awesome. If you're holding on, go ahead and release the arms and open them out to the right and to the left. Plant the left foot on the floor and take the left leg to the left, right foot to the left, little configuration of twisted figure 4. And then in that twisted figure 4, you might bring the left hand to the inside edge of the right thigh, knee, press it away. You might find that you want to deepen the twist, but you're allowing yourself to just notice what's happening here. And then gently inhale, come back through center. Plant both feet on the floor, pause, and just observe what's different between the right side, what's different between the left side. Cactus the arms once again if they're not there. Cross the left ankle over the top of the right thigh, flex through the left foot a lot. Then draw your right knee to your right armpit, right shin parallel-ish to the floor, right foot active, left foot active. And you can choose to stay here pressing that left ankle into the right thigh or thread your hands through the hole, grabbing, yep, right there, Barbara. And we're trying to find stretch as well as strength on that outer left hip. So those that aren't using your hands, we're really activating it there. Those that are using your hands, see if you can still press that left ankle into the right knee into the left ankle. Draw the left knee away from your torso actively by engaging that outer left hip. Awesome. If you're holding on, gently release the hands, bringing them out to the side in a T shape. Lower the right foot to the floor, then draw the right thigh, left foot to the right side of the mat. Maybe right hand comes to the inside edge of the left knee and pushes the thigh away. Maybe it hugs it in, but you're just taking a little bit of a twist here. Awesome. Very gently, you'll go ahead and inhale, come back up. Plant both feet on the floor. If a block is easily accessible to you and you'd like to use it, we're going to do 2 bridges. So you can plant that block in between your inner upper thighs. If you don't want to use a block, that's okay as well. And then for today, we're going to robot our arms. So hugging those elbows down into the floor, hugging the shoulders down into the floor, pushing the feet into the floor, squeezing the block. Inhale, lift your pelvis up. Once your pelvis is up, you might walk the shoulders, or rather the elbows, closer towards each other. Let's keep the elbows bent for today. And then I want you to notice how you can push down through the whole upper arm bone. Squeeze that block and then lift your sternum closer to your chin and then push your head down like we were when we were pressing into that block. And so for today, we're really focusing on pressing down. So can you push down? Can you squeeze into that block and maybe lift your hips a little higher as you lengthen your tailbone forward? Awesome sauce. And then very gently, let's see if you can relax the shoulders, bring the pelvis back to the floor and just pause. We'll do that one more time. On the second set, you can keep the elbows roboted if you'd like, or you can interlace the hands. But we're going to see if we can activate the backs of the legs. So when you're ready, you'll inhale, push down, squeeze in, lift your pelvis up. Maybe you walk the elbows closer together. Maybe you walk the shoulders closer together. Maybe you keep the hands in that 90-degree angle, and then everyone lifting the sternum closer to the chin away from the sternum, pressing the back of the skull down. And you've just got about 4 breath cycles here. And you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're noticing what you notice. At the end of your next exhalation, if the hands are clasped, gently unclasp them, untuck the shoulders, bring the pelvis back down to the floor and pause. Notice what you notice. How is the body feeling? How are you feeling? You'll take about 3 breath cycles here, and I want you to just ask the body what the body needs, not what the mind thinks that it needs, but what the body feels like the body would like to do. And when you got a good impulse of what that may be, by all means, go ahead and do that. The final pose that I would like to encourage for today is Supta Baddha Konasana. So If you're ready to go there, by all means, go there. But if there are other things you want to do, go ahead and do that. One of the interesting things that I guess I've been thinking about with regards to trust, with regards to friendship, with regards to change is that, we do need to allow ourselves and others to change and evolve based upon how life changes and evolves for them and for ourselves. And it's funny because I think that a lot of our hurt, our anger, our misunderstanding comes from not recognizing that one fact. How much joy could be released if we allowed ourselves to remember that there are a few things that are constant in life. Change is one of them. The inevitability of taxes is another. Okay. And so as you all continue to settle in and you make your way to whatever your final resting pose will be, I want you to take the first few breaths, first few minutes in your pose of choice to really make sure you feel comfortable in this moment. If there's any small little wiggles that need to be done until it feels like your right side and your left side feel even. Roberta, I'm curious to see if you turned your palms to the ceiling a little bit and then pretended like you were making little snow angels, drawing your hands to your hips and then up until you found a good spot so that that blanket underneath you feels like it broadens the whole chest. So literally like moving your hands on the floor until you found the spot that felt like it was good for you. Okay. Awesome. And then from here, we'll start this the same way we started. So I want you to take 3 breaths. Big inhale, audible exhale. And then allow that to just dissipate. Bring your awareness now to your abdomen. And as best as you can, just let your awareness rest on your abdomen. And just notice what happens as the body breathes in and as the body breathes out. And as best as you can, you're just trying to remain a passive witness to the change that naturally happens as the body breathes in and as the body breathes out. Just letting the awareness rest on the abdomen, staying a very alert witness. No need to change the breath, just watching what happens as the body breathes in and as the body breathes out. And you'll be here for the next few moments on your own, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Gently return your awareness. As you come back, just allow yourself a moment to check in. Notice what you notice. If there's any part of you that's longing to linger in this shape, by all means, just hang out here. When you are ready to move, please do so gently and mindfully in whatever way feels good to you. Those in movement start to make your way to your right side, and just take a moment to pause there. You'll then start to roll your chest more towards the floor, press into the top hand, and draw your spine up to vertical. When you are vertical, please elevate your pelvis on a block or a blanket and sit really tall through the spine. So gaze can still be internal. I want you to just feel what it feels like to really stack your shoulders over your hips, to stack your head over your shoulders, to widen the arms to a spot where it feels like your chest feels like it can open and there's nothing like rounding the upper chest, but it feels open. Soften the tongue and the mouth, soften the jaw away from the eyes. And then we'll end with 3 rounds of Nadi Shodhana. If you're working with sinus stuff, don't do this. You can do mental Nadi Shodhana. But when you're ready, you'll go ahead and tuck the left index finger into the left base of the thumb. Bring your right index finger and right middle finger into the base of your right thumb. Put your right thumb on the outside edge of your right nostril. Pinky finger, ring finger on the outside edge of your left nostril. Go ahead and exhale all the breath from your mouth. When you need to, you'll close your right nostril and inhale just through your left. Top of your inhalation, you'll close your left nostril, and then you'll slowly exhale out through the right. When you need to, you'll draw the breath in through the right. Top of your inhalation, you'll close the right and slowly exhale out through the left. And you'll just do 2 more rounds like that on your own. Trying to keep the spine as tall as possible. And if you're working with mental Nadi Shodhana, continue to soften any tension in the mouth and the jaw. And at the end of your 3rd round, there is no rush. You'll just lower your right hand and we'll take a few moments to sit, and you'll just be with your breath. So with the spine's tall, the heart lifted, you can either allow the awareness to rest wherever the breath happens to be in the body, or you can direct the awareness to rest in the abdomen once again and just observe as the body breathes in and as the body breathes out. And the task is to just remain the witness. The more still that we can become, the more that we can see that things are always changing. They're always evolving. They're always adapting. And the more that we can become still, we can start to become aware that even amidst that change, there's this unwavering consistency, unwavering stability. Some might call that grace. Some might call that truth. Some might call that love. For the moment, I'm calling it trust. So as you're here with yourself for the next 3 breaths, allow yourself to continue to let go of any muscular tension, to notice where you can soften and adapt to this present awareness. At the end of your 3rd exhalation, we'll go ahead and bring our right hand to our heart and stack your left hand right on top of it. Feel the hands pressing into the chest pushing back into the hands. That stillness, that stability, that love, that grace, that trust is always within us, even amidst the change. You just have to take a moment to connect with it, to allow it to reveal itself amongst the movement. Draw your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Press the palms into each other. Receive the weight of the thumbs into your sternum, and again lift the sternum to the thumbs. Soften your chin towards your throat and exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in. Audible breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. To that breath, to that sound, and to that change, we bow. Namaste.